San Francisco, the numbers are following a familiar trend. Betty Yu explains why advocates for vulnerable communities are sounding the alarm.
The Mission Food Hub, which runs this vaccine and COVID site behind me, said it started to see an uptick in people coming here about 3 weeks ago. Roberto Hernandez, who founded the Mission Food Hub, said he's working to educate people in the community, especially the most vulnerable, about a surge in COVID cases.
The worst part of all this is that people are calling us and saying, I got COVID. And people are concerned because there's people that never got vaccinated.
During the height of the pandemic, this free testing and vaccine site, which is normally set up outside the warehouse on the sidewalk, operated 7 days a week. It's down to 2 days a week now. Depending on the resources available and severity of the surge, Roberto said he'll work to add more days.
Well, especially with the Latino, Native, and Black community, we know that we're at the highest risk. We know from the past because we're, again, the essential workers. We're doing work where we're not protected.
UCSF Chair of Medicine, Dr. Bob Wachter, said there's no question there are more cases of COVID now than there were a month or two ago.
A little bit of an increase in hospitalizations, an increase in the wastewater positivity, which is probably the best way we have to tell how much COVID there is around. It's important to say, though, that the height of the uptick is nowhere near the kind of surges that we saw in the past with Omicron and Delta.
He said most people have some level of immunity, and a new booster coming out in the next week should work very well against the new variant called BA 2.86. He advises the elderly or immunocompromised to get that booster. If you're young and healthy,
I think the net benefits outweigh the risks. So I will, if my 30-year-ish old kids ask me, should I get the booster? I will say yes.
Our community, we have to go out more, so we have to jump on a muni bus. You're being exposed. You have to jump on BART. You're being exposed. You're being exposed at work. So one of the things we're encouraging people, again, if you are not healthy, please mask up.
And there's also COVID concerns in the South Bay where wastewater testing indicates a surge in positive cases. San Jose, Palo Alto now have a high rating, while Sunnyvale and Gilroy have a medium rating. The county positivity rate was almost 10% in the last week of August. And for context, state positivity rates peaked at 25% in January of 2022. Experts say these new variants are still very dangerous for the elderly and immunocompromised.
More than 500 public schools in the state are in jeopardy of losing critical funding due to low vaccination rates. That includes more than 30 schools in the Oakland Unified District. State officials say more than 20% of kindergarten students in nearly a dozen schools in Oakland did not have all the required immunizations last school year. That audit list was released by the California Department of Public Health. Oakland Unified isn't the only Bay Area district on that audit. San Francisco Unified also had 14 schools on that list.